Okay, Sarah, this is my barn. And when they built this barn, they put the tack room right there. And the wash rack here. That is entirely too long for me to be traveling back and forth on anywhere from 7 to 12 horses a day. So I remade this stall into a tack room. But if I had to do it all over again myself, I would certainly put my tack room right next to the wash rack and all of my stuff. There's a round pen built into this barn, which is super awesome. There's 6 stalls on the other side, which is okay. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't split it up, because if I were to use those stalls on the other side, then it would be kind of a hike for feed and travel and whatnot. But that's how they made it. So you can see it's a tractor storage. This is an office, and if I had to do it all over again, I would put all the offices and the tack room together instead of split up. There's an office and then a row of stalls, and then of course the feed room down here, and then there's another office across, and it just kind of breaks everything up a little bit too much for me. It'd be really beneficial maybe if you had some stallions, you could separate them, and I do. These are all the geldings down here, all the mares down here, and of course they're separated in their pastures. So here's an office. Again, it would have been nice to have it all together so that you can get to your kitchen easily, and studio and feed. So anyway, I would change that if I could build this myself. What I do love about this barn is that that is facing east, that is facing west, so that my north and south winds come through all the stalls, so that when it's hot, I'm getting breeze through this barn. So anyway, also, I don't like this. I mean, honestly, I don't like my horses' heads to come out of the stalls. You know, a snake and a cat, if they can put their head through an opening, they can get their body through it. If a horse can put his head through an opening, he thinks he can get his body through it. So this is actually a drop down on this stall front, but I never open them. Also, when I was younger, there were some open stalls that had these really cute little horseshoe latches, and the horse was playing with it with his bottom jaw, got his teeth hung on it, and ripped his jaw out of his face. So I don't like anything that they can hang a face on. I need to clean this stall. Like my little feeders contained, you know, horses are supposed to eat off the ground, but come on, they're only eating grain for a short period of time. They'll be fine. I put my hay on the ground. There's no hay in here. I need to do that. And I prefer water buckets and not automatic water, so that I can monitor how much they're drinking and things like that. Just monitor. Okay, what I really love is that in the summertime, when it's really hot, these stalls can be completely opened up so that you're getting maximum airflow. Hey, you gotta stay inside. Okay. Yeah, so in the summertime, I can open this stall up completely and get airflow. They do have fans hung from the ceiling, and I only turn those on when I'm here. I'm terrified of barn fires, and you can imagine if there were an electrical malfunction in that fan and any sparks were to fall down in hay. Shavings don't burn that easily, but they will burn given the opportunity, and that could really cause a problem for this horse trapped in a firebox. So the fans are only on when I'm here, and if necessary. This is how these latch. So you can leave your stall with maximum airflow, with the doors completely pinned back so that they're not banging and slamming in the wind. Or you can actually close up both the top and the bottom, so that in the wintertime, there's a little hook right there. Let's see how that hooks. And put your head in the stall, buddy. All the way in. Here we go. So you can close this up completely if you have a new horse and you're a little bit scared of maybe them trying to climb out of that stall, or a youngster, or if it's just really, really cold. This is the north. So in the wintertime, that wind's coming through here pretty hard. So I want my barn to be as cool as possible, because down here mostly it's summer. Pretty much all we have is summertime. So anyway, that's what I love about this setup. I don't want them to get hot. Since a lot of barns are modeled after northern barns, and they're closed up completely. They get really, really hot. You have to hang up fans, which again is a fire hazard. These ceilings are really high, and the higher your ceilings are, the cooler it'll stay in here. I mean, this ceiling looks, it looks low. It appears that it's high, but when you step outside of this barn, you can see there's a huge attic, and a lot of heat goes up there and then is dispersed by cupolas on top, which is not entirely necessary. But for this barn, they put cupolas with air vents to let out heat since it rises. So the heat of this barn goes up into the attic and out of all of those cupolas. Anyway, other than the arrangement of the offices and the tack room and the feed room, I really wouldn't change anything. Of course, you never want to have glass or even plexi where a horse can get to it. There is a protection area. This stall's not being used. So that, and these things are really, really strong. This is all galvanized. I mean, they cannot destroy that. Trust me, they've tried. But yeah, you can, so if you do have windows, definitely cover them up where a horse can't put a foot through a bar. That's another thing. Some stalls have sort of singular upright bars. Anything that a horse can kick hard enough, split apart, and put his leg through is a broken leg. So I prefer this galvanized, where you can see a horse's hoof is not going to go through this. Again, this is not your regular square metal. They're not going to kick through this. You don't want to go cheap on that. This is a little door so that you can feed them easily if they're inside already, but not really necessary again. Also, in these stalls, I want my horses to be able to see each other, but when it's eating time, they can really develop some ulcers and anxiety. If they're eating and they see another horse, they feel threatened. Some do. Some understand that they're in a different stall and they don't have to feel threatened, but some of them do. So this the panel here is completely closed off so that when a horse is eating, he doesn't see another horse and develop that anxiety that that horse might come and get his food. But they can walk back here and visit each other and feel comfortable in their little herd environment. Also, really, really, really important, today it's raining. And a lot of times when you build a barn, your contractors don't want to build in the rain, so they build in the dry. And the barn is not built up. And then when it rains really, really hard, the barn floods. So it's very difficult to tell because this land looks really flat all the way to the barn, but it's not flat. This is actually a 6 or 7 foot grade down to the pastures. On this side, you can really see it a little bit easier because once we hit grass, it goes down significantly. You want to build up a tall pad for your barn. We had so much space available that they were able to slowly grade from barn down to pasture. I mean, you can see how much higher that barn is than this fence line. I've seen some barns where you might not have that much space to grade, and so the barn's built a little bit more at an incline as you walk in, not quite so flat appearing, which is completely fine as long as it's not, slippery. So those are some things to take into consideration. I like sliding doors as opposed to open and close doors, so that nobody hangs a hip and drags a door and gets in between here and there. So I do like a door that slides like that. Well, that's the barn. I guess the most important would be tall ceilings, heat escape, building it up as high as possible. This particular barn does have a great system. It goes down to this. The pipes go underground. There's a creek out back behind that tractor, and they go out into the water goes out into the creek. Not entirely necessary. It was just something that we did. But anyway, that's about it. My barn's really messy. I just realized that. Maybe that's what I should be doing today in this rain, is putting all that equipment back where it belongs. It doesn't really belong there. But I do like having a round pen in the barn. This is a 70-foot round pen. On rainy days like this, I can still work some horses if necessary, and I can certainly continue to break colts. So having a day off is impossible when you've got a cover. Here you can see how tall that ceiling really is. But anyway, that's it. I hope this helps.